Have you read about the spike in hate crimes since Trump was elected? Do you think that's a coincidence? Have you read about the Muslim women in college campuses, one in the subway here, who've had their hijabs torn off their heads in public, and people have just stood by and seen it and watched it and not done anything? You think that's a coincidence? The bottom line is Donald Trump released the Kraken. He unleashed the level of racism and division and hostility in America, and he justified it and empowered it. And now if he wants to govern, he needs to put it back, put that toothpaste back in the tube.
I couldn't disagree with you more.
Of course.
I couldn't disagree with you more.
But have you read about the spikes in the hate
Just
crimes?
because people misinterpret what someone says doesn't mean that that person is in the wrong. What Donald Trump focused on, legitimately, was ISIS and the influx of people coming in this country, harming this country. That, to me, is a legitimate thing to talk about. If people misinterpret that, there's always crazy people who take things and do dumb things. That's not Donald Trump's responsibility. Yeah. Donald Trump is going to stay focused, and I think he'll do a good job, and I think he'll get it done.
Answer me. Do you think the spike in hate crimes is a coincidence since Trump got elected?
No, I think, frankly, when people like Navarro and Van Jones get up and talk about whitelash and how Donald Trump hates Muslims and all of the negative things that the press is spewing out there about what Trump's going to do, that's got people worked up more than anything else.
So you think that when Van and I highlight some of this stuff, it's hate spewing? But you think that when Donald Trump calls Mexicans rapists, and when Donald Trump calls Mexicans criminals, that's not hate speech?
Hey, we're talking about Muslims. Let's talk. We're talking about Muslims. We can actually talk to some Muslims. That's part of the problem in America. We talk about people and we don't talk to them. Can we talk to some? So I'm going to come out here and talk to my.
We're not even going to register them here.
That's right. Hey, so listen, I want to give a round of applause to Shabana Box. Now look. This young lady is a young Muslim, and she is also a law student, and one of the young people that we're probably most proud of in the country because you're doing the right thing every day. Talk to us about your experience.
Thank you. Good evening. And Anna, I agree with everything that you just said. As the results came in from the recent election, I personally saw the devastation and the fear in the eyes of my fellow Muslim family members, my friends. As you mentioned recently, the incident with the young 18-year-old college student who was violently attacked in New York City going on the subway to get to school for wearing a hijab.
What were they chanting when they snatched her head off, her hijab off?
Go back to your country, go home, you're not American. And so my question here is how will the President-elect Trump ensure the safety of the Muslims in this country, ensure and ease our minds as our young Muslim women go to school and wear their hijabs every day? How will he ensure the safety of the Middle Eastern shop owner at the corner deli down the block?
I think going from an Obama presidency to a Trump presidency, you should feel much better about religious liberty. Because Barack Obama attacked religious liberty more than any president in the history of this country.
False.
And Donald Trump has said he's going to appoint justices, he's going to have a law enforcement that's going to make sure that religious liberty is vibrant, which means all religions. I know some people hear religious liberty and think, oh, we're just talking about Christians. No, we're not. We're talking about all religions. And allowing people to practice that religion, including wearing clothing that's consistent with their religious traditions. So the reality is on that front, he's going to be good. Secondly, he's going to be a law and order president, which means that we're going to respect the law and we're going to obey the law, and we're going to have police and a Justice Department that's going to enforce the law. The law protects minorities, protects people. I would return the question to you. What is it that Donald Trump said? Not what other people have done. There's always people who are going to do mean things and take things. What are you concerned about that Donald Trump has said that's going to affect your life with respect to being a Muslim?
Well, I think even recently his rhetoric, an idea of having a Muslim registry, things of that nature. His campaign was based on a platform of hatred for all that's different, for something that is not the majority. And I am of a minority background in faith. My parents immigrated here from outside of the country, so I think that his rhetoric, his base, his platform, although maybe not all of his comments are directed specifically at Muslims, but they are targeting those minorities and anything that is different to him.
Thank you. Can we talk a little bit? Well, I really appreciate it.
Can you let me answer her question, though, about what Donald Trump is going to do? I think, forget what Donald Trump is going to do. He's had a chance in the last 3-4 weeks, in the last month since being elected, to go out and give unity speeches, to go out and heal the wounds, to go out and be the unifier. He hasn't done it. It's up to us to stand with you. It's up to you to stand with your community. It's up to you to make sure that the press knows every time that there is a hijab torn off a head. It's up to us to make sure that America sees these wounds and these the hurt and the fear that's out there. If you ask me to figure out a silver lining to the Donald Trump presidency and election, I think it's that we can no longer pretend the racial divisions, the divisions and hostility in America don't exist. We can no longer sweep it under the rug. And we are in a crux in the road. We either address and fix it, or we're going to be very torn as a country.
Senator, I want you to respond, and then I have my own question, and then we'll be moving on. But Senator.
Well, look, I mean, this is very troubling to hear that Donald Trump and conservatives, because this is what you're referring to, are somehow stoking racial and religious. That's just not accurate. The reality is, what we're trying to do is, as Van said in his opening remarks, we're looking at a country that says that we need to address people in need in our society irrespective of their color. I think Donald Trump's message, this populist economic message, the message about putting America first, the message about improving the quality of working men and women, actually is going to, over time, appeal to a lot of African Americans and to a lot of Hispanics who find themselves in that situation, and all they're being talked about right now is race, bigotry, dividing, and just focusing on color, focusing on gender, instead of focusing on condition and trying to raise that condition up.
Well, I tell you, first of all, you may well be right, honestly. If, in fact, Republicans like Paul Ryan, who's been talking about an anti-poverty agenda, if, in fact, that Donald Trump does follow through and does do that reach out that you were bragging on him for, he may, in fact, change a lot of minds. But where we are right now, there's a lot of distrust. One of the things.
Give the man a chance.
I'm gonna give him a chance, but I'm not giving him a pass.
Yeah, but
so, I mean, I have a question for you.
He's given many unity speeches, contrary to what I understand.
But you know what? I remember when George W. Bush went to a mosque, and right after 9/11, and you applauded him for it, and the whole world did. I hope at some point he'll do that. But I want to ask you a tougher question. It's a deeper question about our relationship now to the Muslim community in the United States. Right now, the Muslim community is awesome. If a Muslim family moved next door to me, I would be the happiest person in the world, because the chance of my kids getting in trouble just went way down. Just went way down, because they have high educational attainment. They're their faith, their family, they're hardworking. This is a model American community. And yet, isn't there a danger? I know, listen, I know where your heart is, sir. But isn't there a danger that this level of miscommunication and this level of misunderstanding could drive a model community to the margins and actually create the very thing you're afraid of, which is extremism? Are you worried about that?
No, I'm really not, because I don't see anything that Donald Trump's going to do that's going to marginalize Muslim families who are, just as you described, decent, law-abiding, achieving people in our society. And I have friends, many of them, who fit that bill. But at the same time, Donald Trump is concerned about Muslim families and Muslim clerics, not just overseas, but some here in this country, who are supporting radical Islamic things, and we need to be able to identify them, and we need the Muslim community to work with us to resist that.
We are going to be having this conversation